Recording in progress.
Can that be the start of the podcast?
Recording in progress.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is Becca. I work for Blue Balloon Theatre. I'm the artistic director and founder. And this is the Beat Inspired podcast, a chance for us to talk to loads of creatives from all around the industry about their experiences, essentially. And the aim of it is, you've probably guessed this by now, is to inspire you, whether that is to just do something with your day, whether that's something creative or just something in general. It's just to help you through the day kind of thing. And, you know, if it prompts you into maybe pursuing your dreams, then let us know, because we love that too. But today I have got a very, very special guest on. I am pretty buzzing to be having this chat. But hello, Ryan. How are you?
Hello. I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Good. I'm good, thank you. I've been really looking forward to this chat.
Same.
Good. There's been a lot of people from beyond our creative community that I've had a chat with for season 2. And as you can imagine, having known you now for 10 years.
That's ridiculous.
10 years. I was a little bit like, okay, this is going to be a walk in the park.
We'll see.
We'll see. So this is your first podcast recording, am I right?
It is. It'll be interesting.
You'll be absolutely fine. I know what you're like. Once you get going, you'll be having the time of your life.
It's on the same chatterbox.
I mean, yeah. No, in the best way, obviously.
Obviously.
Anyway, I digress. For our listeners and watchers on YouTube, please tell us a little bit about yourself, Ryan, and who you are as a creative.
Okie dokes. So, do you want me to just go into like the background stuff?
Yeah, go for it. Love a bit of background stuff.
So, myself and Becca met each other 10 years ago in college studying musical theatre, which made me realise that musical theatre wasn't for me, as everyone was very well aware of on the course.
Yep.
It was very much sort of drilled into you that drama school was sort of the go-to thing to do. I couldn't afford to go to audition for drama school while I was in college, so I did it the year after and the following year after that. I only auditioned for about 6 different schools. Got a handful of recalls and stuff, which was brilliant, but didn't land a place. Although now I'm very happy that I didn't, because I know that I was not ready at all. So then I took a bit of time out, worked in hospitality full time, doing stupid hours, 50, 60 hours a week. Originally that was to get the money up to re-audition for drama schools. And then as time went on, I just kind of dropped that idea a little bit. I still toy with it every so often, sort of think, should I, shouldn't I? But I ended up coming back into the industry, doing fringe theatre shows. So yeah, managed to rack up a few of those. Ended up going to perform in Edinburgh Fringe, which was a brilliant opportunity. It was very stressful, but it was a great time. And just taking classes, continuous classes. I've been doing them for about 3 or 4 years now. And about 4 months ago, booked my first agent, which is amazing. And she's so easy to talk to. She was literally the perfect agent for me as well. Because I was wanting someone who had the book small so that they could focus on you a bit, but was really easy to talk to. And there's only so much information you can find online. So I was a bit like, how do I find out whether these people are like really easy to talk to? The books are really small because so many of them, they've got 100 people on there, and that's too much for me. I don't just want to be sidelined or anything like that. Because I've known so many friends who have had agents like that, and they do sort of get pushed to one side, or they feel it at least. So I've been very lucky to have found Kay, my agent. I speak to her most days, and she's literally 4 months in, and the auditions are rolling through every single week. It's been about 2 weeks where I've not had a single audition. She's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's a little bit. See, I did end up rambling and chatting on. I get what you mean.
Yeah. I mean, I love it. That's one of the many reasons why I love you, because you're very much like me. You love a good story. Like I said to you the other week, I said, I always have a story to tell you, don't I? Like whenever I see you, there's always a new story to tell. But no, that's amazing. And I'm fascinated by your journey into this industry. Not in a really like, oh my God, it's so fascinating. Not like that. In more of the sense of, we've kind of gone at it from different angles. Yeah. I did the sort of, as you did, auditioned for drama school, struggled with the money side of things, but went anyway. Didn't get in first time around, so went for another year of auditioning. And then I was offered a couple of different places and went to LIPA. And then I had 3 years of actor training at LIPA after doing musical theatre at college. And that was that for me. That was my sort of step into the industry. I do agree with you. I think because of the college we went to, and with it being very much performing arts focused, they did kind of drill it into us that going to drama school is the best option for you.
Yeah, 100%.
And I mean, absolute kudos to you for being able to recognise that actually that maybe wasn't the right thing for you at that time. So many people get sort of, I don't know, they go along for the ride of it and they're like, yeah, let's do it. And then, you know, some people I know have gone into drama school or even university, and then a few months in have left because...
I've known a couple of people do that as well.
Yeah. And I mean...
It can be a bit overwhelming sometimes because not everyone's ready for it straight away, but you don't realise at the time.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's really amazing that you were able to recognise that within yourself and sort of realised what you needed at that time. You know, and of course things change over time, as you've said. Like, I think that's to be expected. Excuse me. But anyway, I digress again. Let's chat about how you discovered you wanted to get into performing. Because everybody's got a slightly different story, and I don't actually know if I know yours.
So I have a couple of different memories.
Okay.
One of them was from primary school. So I remember them starting like a drama club in primary school, and I was very interested in it, but I was so shy. Like, I might be chatting away right now, but 20 years ago, I wouldn't have been at all. I was a very sort of shy unless you knew me kind of kid.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I'm not too dissimilar now. But yeah, so I sort of went into it, and I remember us putting on this like show in assembly or something. And it was like an X Factor kind of thing.
Okay.
And they wanted me to sing. Now, the reason why musical theatre isn't for me, it is for a lot of people, and I really sort of salute anyone who has the balls to go on stage and do musical theatre. I just don't have the confidence to do it, and that mainly comes down to the singing. So it was about half an hour before going on to do this performance. And I was like, I can't do it. I can't remember what the teacher's name was. Oh, yeah, it's gone from my head. But I ended up sort of going to her in her room. And I was like, I really can't do it. Like, I'm too scared to do it. So I ended up being the presenter of it. So I didn't have to sing, but I ended up doing like the acting side of it and the presenting side and everything. And I quite enjoyed that. So I was a bit like, I might carry this on a little bit. And then in high school, I remember in one of my drama classes, I can't remember what the subject was about, but we had to do a group piece. And this was the first time in high school. I went to an all boys high school as well. It was the first time that we had to act in front of other people in high school. You can imagine what an all boys high school is like anyway. So I was absolutely bricking it. It was just a good job that my character had to be bricking it as well. So I literally was trembling. Like I was shaking so much and I was so nervous. But I was really proud of myself at the end of it. And I was like, I did that really well. And I was like, I know it's because I was so nervous and genuinely trembling with fear of performing in front of people. But I still got that little buzz. And then from then on, I just sort of tried challenging myself in little bits. There was a little advert casting thing in school for one of the school shows. And I remember saying to a lad in class that I really wanted to audition for it, but I was too scared to do it. I think I was in like year 8 at this point. And he was just like, just go for it. Like, if that's what you want to do, he was like, do you want to pursue it as a career? I was like, I really do. And he was like, well, you need to challenge yourself. And he just gave me this little pep talk. And he was a very shy lad as well. And I was like, okay, I'll do it then. I absolutely messed up the audition. I think I played a tree in Wizard of Oz and like one of the munchkins. But that was my first time actually on stage.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've just sort of kept trying to challenge myself from then. So those are like my little stories.
Amazing.
Into the way my brain works.
We did a Wizard of Oz, the Wizard of Oz as well. I remember I was the lion, the cowardly lion in high school. Of course. Made everybody laugh and had a great time. Now, it's really interesting hearing sort of how you came to be interested in it, because like I said before, everyone has a slightly different story, and often those moments stay with you for a very, very long time. You know, I remember my drama teacher at high school. I'm still friends with her now. She's honestly the reason why I got into doing it, because she just saw something in me. I didn't see it in myself at all. I thought it was rubbish. But she was like, I think you could do it. And I mean, look at where we are now. It's just, it's crazy.
I was the same. My high school drama teacher, she again saw something in me. She knew that I had a passion for it. Yeah. She knew that I was nervous. So she tried challenging me. She ended up getting an assistant who came in towards the end of high school. And she again, I sort of very quickly became one of her favorites. And she was pushing me for like auditions outside of high school and stuff like that, because she could see like some sort of potential that I couldn't see myself at the time.
Yeah.
Again, I pretty much ballsed up any of those auditions at the time, but that was just a confidence thing. It just gave me that experience to learn from, really.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Yeah, you're smashing it now, and what a journey you've been on since. So let's fast forward to a little bit further down the timeline. So obviously you tried auditioning for drama school.
Yeah.
And realised it wasn't for you. what was your kind of thought process between sort of realizing that maybe drama school wasn't the one for you, and then sort of pursuing working a regular job in hospitality on a more full-time basis? Because that's quite a big shift in life, I guess. I mean, to suddenly make that decision of, okay, I'm not ready for this, so now I'm going to do this. What was the thought process behind that?
So the thought process for me originally was when I hadn't realised that drama school wasn't for me. I was working so many hours because I wanted to save up and have that money to re-audition again. But then as it went on, I ended up doing it for quite a few years. And I started realising that drama school wasn't really my thing. I wasn't getting excited about it. I never did. That's another thing that I realised. I never did get excited about drama school. It was just something that I felt I had to do.
Yeah.
Rather than something that I wanted to do or had the passion to do.
Yeah.
So those sort of few years out they were quite good. It also gave me a chance to develop as a person as well, which is another reason why I was quite happy that no drama schools took me at the time, because I wasn't a developed human being.
Yeah.
But yeah, I started realizing that I wanted to try and find a different route into the industry. I just didn't know how to go about that. So after a few years of the hospitality work and everything, I just started looking on social media, joining various sort of acting groups within Manchester and all that kind of stuff. And I started seeing casting calls going up. So I thought, okay, some for like student films and everything. So I was like, right, I'll audition for some of those, get a bit of experience up again. My first student film I did, my performance was awful because I'd never acted on camera before. So it was basically this big theatrical performance on a tiny little camera.
Yeah.
And I hope no one ever sees that. I don't even have a copy of it myself. And then I saw a few fringe theatre ones go up. So I auditioned for one, which I did one, but it was my very first audition for years. And I'd literally just got back from Ireland that morning as well, that afternoon actually, and gone straight to their rehearsal. So that didn't go bad. It didn't go as well as I wanted it to, but it didn't go too badly. But I just used that as experience. A few weeks later, went for another audition and got that audition. I got quite a bit of a confidence boost from the audition as well, because the director said, "Wow, you're a really good actor." And I was like, "Am I?" Cool. He was like, "Yeah, like I could literally feel everything that you were doing there." He was like, "That was brilliant. How have I not seen you around the Manchester Fringe scene before?" And I was like, I just sort of explained what I've just explained to you. Then I did a couple of shows with him. Met some brilliant people along the way, and just started finding my own castings for different fringe productions, making new contacts, eventually starting my class and everything. And then that has all eventually got me to where I am. I can't really explain how I got there. It's very weird.
Yeah.
Because I knew what route I wanted to take. I just didn't know how to get there.
Yeah.
So it was a very jagged, zigzaggy route, sometimes going back on myself and then going back forwards and all of that crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very hard when you don't do the drama school thing, because there's not as much information out there to direct you as to, or to show you like which direction to go in. Yeah. So you're basically just stumbling about, blindfolded in the darkness, whatever you want to call it, just trying to grasp onto something.
Yeah.
And then you can eventually sort of see what works, see what doesn't, and start pulling yourself along.
Yeah, no, I completely get that. And you're absolutely right. I mean, I went to LIPA, as most of our listeners will probably know by now if they've listened to other podcasts. And it was very much, I mean, not everything was spelled out for us, obviously, because that would be ridiculous. Like, we don't need spoon feeding. We are human beings with brains. But there was this element of, okay, now would be a good time to reach out to agents. Now would be a good time to tell them that you're going to be doing a show. And this is what you need to think about, to further your career. And that was very much prominent throughout the 3 years, I would say. Despite the fact that we were doing a lot of technique classes as well. So there was always that thing of, we kind of knew where we wanted to end up. Whether we would end up there was a different matter, because obviously, as we all know, some people get jobs straight away out of drama school, some people don't. And it's the same with agents. It's the same with anything. It is very much who you know, what you know, and being in the right place at the right time a lot of the time.
That's the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no matter what route you take, it's always being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then it's just a stroke of luck a lot of the time as well, which is ridiculous and annoying, the amount of grafting that you put into it. But that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Exactly. I completely agree. And just sort of moving on to the work that you've had since you sort of got back into acting and everything, has there been a job that you've had where you feel you've really taken something away from it, or that experience has really stayed with you?
Various ones, to be honest. The first play that I did coming back into acting is one of my favourite things that I've done. I think it will be for a long time. Mm-hmm. I just really enjoyed the play, the character, everything about it. And because it was my first sort of show back, or my first piece or production, whatever you want to call it, I think that does sort of hold a bit of a place for me.
Mm-hmm.
There was one just before, I know it's going a little bit off topic, but just before taking a bit of a break, that again is another one of my favourite pieces. And that was one of those moments, there was a scene in it, and it was such a shame because the venue it was in hadn't advertised us. So our audience was literally 4 or 5 people, 5 or 6 people maybe, in quite a decent sized theatre.
Okay.
But I remember that performance is something that will stick with me for life, because there was one scene I had to play drunk, which can be a bit tricky.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like comedic drunk. It was, I don't know how to describe it. It was basically, it was a Harold Pinter play.
Okay.
Betrayal. And I played Jerry, I think his name was, and he was basically drunk and had to come on to his best mate's wife on her wedding day.
Okay.
But that scene, I remember just being in the moment completely in that scene and coming off And I had goosebumps myself, like, when you do a good job because you get into it so much and you just get like hairs on end. And it's not to say, oh, look at me, I'm being amazing. It's because you are so invested and so into it.
Absolutely.
Those moments will just stick with you.
Yeah.
Then there was a play about 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, which I did with Something Good Theatre, called It's Probably Thrush. And that was all about endometriosis. Now, I'd never heard of it before. And in the audition, Georgie and Kaylee said to me, so what do you know about endometriosis? And I was like, endo what? I've never heard of it. Am I supposed to have known about this? Because I've not got any information anywhere to say that that's what it's about. And they were like, so you don't know anything about it? And I was like, oh, crap, I'm not getting this part, am I?
No.
And then Georgie was just like, to be honest, it might be a good thing that you don't know much about it, because you're going in with a fresh mind and all that kind of stuff. It turns out I ended up getting the role, which is great.
Amazing.
And I did a heck of a lot of research for that play. Mm-hmm. Kaylee, who was in the play, founded Something Good Theatre, and she was the writer. She actually has endometriosis herself. She puts it all over social media. She's very sort of adamant that she wants to get the word out about it.
Yeah.
She's brilliant. But that really sort of opened my eyes up to things that I didn't even know people went through, things I've not even heard of before. And that, again, will be something that will stick with me because I was very, very passionate about that project. Yeah.
Amazing. I think when you get so invested, like you did with both of those, they do often become your favourite experiences, because you not only gave yourself to the performance aspect of it, but you invested so much time and energy into the research side of it, the thing that 100%. Happens before you've even gotten to the script, to reading the script out loud. You've invested so much time into knowing your shit, basically.
Yeah.
And, I feel the same. I mean, that's why, you know a lot about Pill. Some of our listeners may as well, because we did a podcast about Pill, which is a play that I wrote. I have done a lot of work on that subject matter, and I've done a lot of research, and I've developed the play in a way that has left me so passionate about the whole thing, conveying that message and that story. And I think that will stick with me, as you've said, for a very long time, because I remember when I performed that for the first time at a shorter length to an audience, I remember being completely in the moment, completely, as you said there, like it's quite a magical thing when it happens, because it's almost like you've crossed a line yourself and you've gone, I know everything that I can know, and I'm going to leave that there, and I'm going to deliver this as best as I can. And the way for me to do that is by being here, present with the audience. It's magic. It really is magic.
It's hard to describe that feeling as well.
It really is. It really is. I mean, for any creative that's listening to this or watching this, like, you'll probably understand it in some way or another, because it doesn't necessarily always have to be the actor that experiences that. It can be a lighting designer, it can be the director. I mean, blow me neck, the director has to walk that journey with the actors and the rest of the team 100%. Because if they're not invested in it, I don't think the actors would be as invested in it.
No, because the actors get surely their passion also strives from the director's passion and what they give off as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, really interesting. We haven't really talked about that much on the podcast, so it's quite nice to speak about it, because being in the moment is something that, I mean, when I was at Lipper, that was very much, it was sort of like the tagline of my training was be in the moment, listen and respond.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, when you're in a scene with someone on the stage and you're completely there with them, you're aware of the audience, but not so much that you care about what they're thinking at that moment. You
like you're in your own little bubble with the other actor.
Absolutely.
And everyone else is probably just watching through like a hazy screen or something.
Yeah, that is a really good way of putting it. Yeah. Oh God, I want to get back on the stage now. Blooming it. Well, that's a really nice sort of little anecdote or anecdotes about sort of your experience and as an actor. I mean, I think generally, whether you've gone to drama school, whether you've gone at it like Ryan has, or in a completely different way to both of us, I think one of the best things I can offer up as advice to any actors or performers, that being said, is just listen to your audience. You know, no two audiences will ever be the same. Listen to the people that are on the stage with you, watch them, observe them, and just be as present and in the moment as you can be, because that's when the magic happens on stage and on screen as well. Like, it's not limited to the theatre. All of my work has been in theatre, darling. I love it. But yeah. So let's chat about your creative influences, because you are not only an actor, but you have now dabbled and gone into writing a little bit as well. So let's chat about that, and let's chat about sort of where your inspiration comes from, be it in the writing aspect of things or acting.
Okay. So I will say I've always been interested in writing. Again, it's a confidence thing, and writer's block is a massive thing because my attention span is really bad. So I end up like writing so much about it, and I get really into it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is great. And then I'll be like, wait, what do I do now? Oh, I'll come back to it. And then I'll come back to it, read it over, and I'll be like, cool. Right, yeah, I think I'm done.
Yeah.
So kind of just put pins in everything, and I'm just like, I can come back to it anytime down the line, which is why I started writing monologues. Nice, short, snappy. Some of them have gotten lengthier over the time, but yeah, I started writing monologues and stuff like that. And I think it's good, unless you're auditioning for drama school. Obviously, they want them from published playwrights and all that kind of stuff. But if you need an audition for something that doesn't require a published playwright and you want to have a go at writing, just give yourself a go and write yourself a monologue. You can cater it to whatever needs you want. Mm-hmm. You can create the characters. You can make it as subtle as you want. You can make it as characterful as you want. You can put that character into the writing. And as long as you're just doing what's on the text, your job's done, your character's done. Yeah, I couldn't recommend it like highly enough for people to just give it a go. You don't need to share it if you don't want to. Just be creative with it and stuff. Like, I've started writing all sorts of things. I've started writing bloody short films. I'm not saying that any of these have been finished, but I started writing short films. I've started writing even 6-part drama, stuff like that. I've recently started writing a one-man play, mainly to do with the stigma about therapy, and mental health issues and all sorts of stuff. One thing I have noticed works very well is when you're dealing with such deep issues like that, don't forget to whack some comedy in it as well.
Absolutely.
It splits things up. It makes it so, yeah, you can have your heavy moments, but it gives people a little breathe of relief, a little bit of a chuckle. It doesn't have to be laugh out loud. Yeah, like that's what I'm in the middle of at the minute. This play is just finding some bloody time for it. That's the only issue. It's been a very busy few weeks.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's something that is very enjoyable, and I find myself sort of getting lost in it sometimes, and looking at the time and being like, Jesus Christ, I've been doing this for 2 hours. It feels like it's been about 20 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I can't even say what the inspiration is. Sometimes something will just click to you. I'm one of those where on my phone, in my notes section, I can't tell you how many different notes I've got for so many different ideas, because I'll just be going on a walk and I'll just see something, or something will just pop into my head. And I don't know why it's popped into my head. I may have seen something, heard something, or my brain is just giving me ideas for once. And I'll be like, right, quickly note that down, because I've learned from past experience that if I don't note it down, it's gone.
Yeah.
So if anyone's wanting to write, as soon as that idea pops into your head, write it down somewhere.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. The amount of times I have done that, it's not even worth discussing, to be honest.
No.
I could have been like a published playwright, author, poet, everything by now. Yeah, no, I agree. Everywhere I go, I try and carry a notebook with me, in case, I don't know, say if my phone dies or whatever, I've got something always with me so that I can sort of get ideas down. I completely agree, though. Like, writing it's very therapeutic. Whether, like you said, whether you share it or not does not matter. That's why ironically, a lot of therapists say, write things down, how you're feeling, write it down, journal. When you wake up in the morning, spend 10 minutes just writing down whatever it is that has been in your mind as soon as you've opened your eyes. It's a very it's really important, I think, because the act of you putting something that's been in your head onto paper solidifies it.
Yeah.
It makes it a thing. It sort of has a little bit of life to it if you put it down on paper.
I always like, whenever anyone asks me for advice on some sort of decision that they're making, I think I probably subconsciously got this from Friends when Ross wrote the list about Julie and Rachel, but we'll say I didn't get it from that. But I always tell people to put like a pros and cons for your decisions. If you don't know whether to do it, write it down, because everyone's head works differently. Mine is just like a weird swirling cyclone of crap that, like, a cow will pop out of it and that'll be one of my ideas, and then there'll be like a tree somewhere else and that's another idea, and then they're gone around the other side and I can't get them back. So to have it in front of me, the cyclone's gone, my head's clearer, and I can visually see everything in front of me and can make a better decision. Yeah, that was a really weird analogy, but
you know what? All I could think then was, this reminds me of Wizard of Oz. The bit where it's like maybe that's just always gonna come back to moments in your life, Ryan. Maybe, I don't know.
Potentially.
But yeah, no, you're completely right. I'm very similar to you in that respect. I've got a very active brain to say.
That was an easy way of putting it.
Yeah. It's quite chaotic, isn't it? Like that.
Yes.
That feeling of constantly getting ideas. And you know what? I'm going to digress because I've got a really good story. So there's a TED talk with, I think she's a doctor or she's someone of note. I will find it. But she talks about the brain and impulses that you might get and how we've essentially got 10 seconds when we get an idea, 10 seconds of wanting to act on it. And if we choose to act on it in that first 10 seconds, it is likely to happen. Whereas if we wait, say 15 seconds, the impulse goes. So we'll go, that's when our sort of little inner critic that we just want to get rid of goes,
that lovely little thing.
You know what, actually, no, I don't think I can do that. No, I'll not do that. I'll do it at another time. And then that other time never comes. And I just found it really interesting because it sort of relates to what you were saying there about you get the idea. And if you don't write it down straight away and you don't actively try to remember it and do something about it, then nothing happens, nothing comes of
100%.
it. And how boring would life be if that was a reoccurring theme throughout our lives, if we didn't.
Oh, it is.
Same. I mean, there has to come a point, I think, where, like we were saying this before, is there a way we can just get rid of that little inner critic in our minds? And I think it's at a point where you go, you know what, I can't listen to you anymore. I just want to do it. And that's the moment where you start taking those opportunities and you start to write those things down and act upon them. And that's when things start to change, because I think if you do it once and then you do it again, it'll have a knock-on effect. So that
and you get yourself into that rhythm of doing it.
Exactly.
And then that little niggly thing just gets smaller and smaller every time.
Yeah, and that becomes your normal. I remember there was a point a couple of years ago where I realised what I was scared of within performing arts. And I was like, well, it's not really useful, me being scared of these things or nervous about doing them to this extent. So I need to do something about it. And I thought, well, in my mind, it was a case of if I do these things, become comfortable with them, I'll become fearless. And, you know, when I step into an audition, for example, I'll be comfortable sight reading, for example. Or if I go to an open mic, I'll be comfortable singing a song that I've written or reading a poem that I've written. It's really important, I think, to act upon the things that you want to do and write that idea down whenever you get it, because that could turn into something really, really special. It's food for thought. Like I did not expect this to get as motivational as it has. No offense, Ryan.
Wow. I can be motivational when I want to be.
It's true. You can be, actually. Amazing. Well, is there anyone or anything that has really, really inspired you in your career, do you think? Tough question.
That's putting me on the spot.
Vivian, what?
I don't even know who that is. Do you know what? I will say one performance that really, really inspired me was when I was in London with our friend Naomi. We went to see a play called Frozen by Brian Lavery, and Jason Watkins played the lead. Now, we were up in the circle, It's been so long. Circle's the middle one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Bloody hell. Yeah, so we were in the circle. Were we in the circle? We may have even been on the top. Again, I can't remember what that's called. It's all gone out of my head now. Anyway, we were quite high up. We could just about see them on the stage and everything. And all the way through, his performance was ridiculously good. Like, he was incredible. I got goosebumps just from being up there. Like he played this really creepy character. If anyone knows the play, he's a horrible paedophile who has got a lot of issues going on. And there are even points where they make you feel sorry for him a little bit. And you're like, how do I feel sorry for this guy?
Yeah.
But to get constant goosebumps throughout from being so far away from the stage, just from his performance alone, like I had tears in my eyes because of how much he creeped me out so many times. And I've heard he's a lovely guy in real life. But to be able to do that from so far away, for your acting to be that bloody incredible,
yeah,
that was a very inspiring moment for me. It actually inspired me to write a monologue, which I am doing in class at the minute and preparing for a showcase with.
Amazing.
But yeah, it was absolutely incredible. And if only one person feels that when I do the monologue that I've created, then job done.
Yeah, no, definitely. How amazing as well that it's led to you writing a monologue that you're going to share. Like, I love that. I love anyone that ever gets inspiration from anything should always act on that inspiration.
Completely agree.
Like, that's when the best things happen, because what has happened is you've been inspired by something or someone because you've been interested in, whether it's like you were interested in the way that they were performing, their energy, or, you know, it could be a topic maybe that you've suddenly gone, oh, wow, this person knows X, Y, Z about this, and I didn't know that. So then you go and look into it and you become passionate about it. And I think then to share that sort of from that inspiration, that's such an amazing thing, you know. It's a shame that you've never met this guy to tell him that, because I'm sure he'd bloody love that.
One day.
Oh, that's amazing.
I will say, when I wrote this monologue and everything, I put it forward. So put 5 monologues forward to my teacher and his assistant. And they instantly both said that one, and they didn't know that I'd written it. So I was buzzing about that. But I was really scared to put that one forward because of that tiny little niggly thing where I was thinking, right, should I leave this monologue for future? Because it's quite a characterful monologue. And because he inspired me so much with his performance, I don't by any means expect my performance to be as incredible as his because of the mass amount of experience that he's had over the years.
Yeah.
And I haven't had all of that. But I was a bit like, am I ready to perform this, or do I push it off? And then I thought, do you know what? Sod it. I'm just going to put it forward, challenge myself. If they pick it, great. If they don't, fair enough. I'll be happy with something else as well. Then they picked it and I was like, oh, crap. Oh, now I actually have to perform it properly and work on it more and all this kind of stuff. And I'm really, really happy with the way that it's turning out.
Yeah.
And I did get a comment a couple of weeks ago from someone in class saying, oh my God, Ryan, you really, really creeped me out then. And I was like, yes, job done.
Oh, that's epic. Oh, that's so bloody good. Wow. That's just amazing. So, I mean, moral of that story, guys, is just bloody do it, sod it,
Just bloody do
share it. Just
challenge yourself.
Yes. Oh my God. I love that. I love that. I remember you telling me that the other week and I was like, yes, Ryan. It's just so good. There's a couple of things that I wanted to mention before we finish off the podcast. So I know when I asked you, did you want to be a part of it? You were like, yes. Oh my God, I'm really scared. Oh my God, oh my God. And then you were like, wait, what's it about? And one thing that you said you wanted to speak about, and you have, like, throughout this podcast, there's been various points where we've touched upon mental health, but let's chat about it now, because obviously for an actor or any creative, taking care of your mental health is of paramount importance.
Yes, it is.
To say the least. It is, you know, it's something that I feel everyone in the industry is working at getting better with, if that makes sense, because there's a lot about this industry that can be quite detrimental to our mental health. And I just wanted to talk to you about that, because I know you're quite passionate about, mental health and sort of trying to deal with it in the best way that you can. So, I mean, what are your thoughts, I guess?
Thoughts on ways of dealing with it, or?
Yeah, I suppose so, especially within this weird and wacky industry, because, you know, there's a lot to contend with as a creative.
Yes. So I would say trust your gut a lot of the time. I know if you're in the middle of something and such a person is, I don't know, treating you the wrong way and it's affecting you, speak up about it. I haven't done in the past. And part of me hadn't realized necessarily that it was wrong what was going on, and what was being said to me. I do now. It's become very apparent over this past year when we've all had many things to think about, because we've had many things that we can't do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say if someone doesn't feel right to you, act upon it. Speak to someone about it. If the main person that you have to speak to about it is the person in question, don't feel like you owe them anything. If it is better, if it's more detrimental to your mental health to leave said production, do it. I'm not one that would usually say, quit this, quit that, or anything like that. And I don't like letting people down or anything. I don't actually think I've ever quit a production myself. However, if someone or something within that production is affecting you so badly, get out. Speak to someone first, and if nothing can come of it, nothing positive can come of it, then get out. We kind of covered it a little bit before with a little niggly person on your shoulder chatting awful things to you. For me, I do find the whole writing things down, I'm not saying personally I don't like write my emotions down or anything like that, but even just things like lists of things that I need to do, or just something that can help me organize my head, because I do have a very scatterbrain. Like I said, cycling with cows and trees and all that crap. It's a constant swirling mess up there. So to be able to get things physically down in front of me, that takes them out of my head and clears my head more.
Yeah.
So that it calms me down. Because I do suffer with anxiety as well, which I have only realised in recent years. Just anything that you can do that can clear your head, do it. I did have something else that I wanted to say, and I can't think what it is at all.
If it comes back, it comes back. Just
okay.
touch.
That's a brain.
See, that cow's gone now.
Yeah, the cow's gone.
It's
on the other side of the cyclone. I'm never going to please see it again.
Oh dear. Just touching.
Hi, Daisy.
Of course it's called Daisy. Of course it is.
It's a generic cow.
Yeah. Just touching on what you said there, I can relate massively to what you said, even though you yourself have never sort of walked from a job, if that's the right term to use.
Yeah.
I have been in that position before, and it was quite scary because, you know, we're always told to embrace every opportunity and go at it. And, you know, if you turn down a job, then that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's not. If you take on a job and something is wrong, and like you said, and you notice it, it's about being honest with yourself and saying, is this serving me? Is this serving my mental health? And if it's not, address it, most definitely. That's exactly what happened with me. I took on a job that was a relatively small theatre job. I was really looking forward to playing this role because it was something quite out of my comfort zone, I would say. It was a lot to do with like domestic abuse and that kind of thing. But I was very interested to see how I could take on that role and how I could make it believable. And throughout the first few rehearsals, I could feel that something was wrong. And it wasn't in what I was doing, it was with the director. The other cast members were absolutely lovely. They were ever so supportive. And there was just something that did not sit right with me and the director. And I had to have that conversation, which I did. I had about 3 different conversations with him. And in the end, I just very bluntly said, look, if I come into another rehearsal and I continue to feel this way, then I will walk, because I've addressed the problem with you and it's still happening. I think if you're anyone working towards putting a production on or whatever it is, and somebody comes to you with a problem, you have to act on it, because that person has chose to talk about it and let you know. Therefore, you have to rectify the problem as a team. And yeah, I think just to echo everything you said, really, just be honest about it and try and resolve the problem if you can, and alleviate any pressure or upset that you might have mentally. Yeah.
Definitely, because at the end of the day, if you don't address it and don't sort of deal with that side of it, it'll just continue to eat at you, stress you out. Mm-hmm. And yes, you may want to continue with the productions and all that, but it may not, but it may affect your performance at the end and all that as well. And if you're wanting to do it for the performance and just think, do you know what? I'll forget all this crap which is going on behind the scenes. Yeah. I want to perform. You're also not doing yourself justice there, because you could be affecting the one thing that you're wanting to do this for as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So definitely reiterating, reiteration, that's the word.
Yeah.
Just honest, open, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And I mean, we've kind of there's been so much like that people can take away from this podcast already, but I'm going to ask this question anyway because I ask everybody. But based on your experience, is there any bit of advice that you can give to somebody wanting to get into this industry, or perhaps to somebody who already is in the industry and maybe feels a little bit lost?
Okay. I would say making connections is a brilliant way of finding your path and your route. And I don't mean you have to go out and socialize with hundreds of people and at events and all that kind of stuff. I bloody hate that crap. Social media is such an easy way to do it, like especially Twitter.
Yes.
The acting community is ridiculously big on Twitter. And don't be scared to come into the industry if you're not already there. There is quite a bit of, I don't want to say the word stigma. It could be stigma. It's something. Cal's gone again. But people think that actors are backstabbing people who will step on anyone to get their way to the top. That's bullshit. It is. I haven't, as far as I'm aware, haven't met a single actor like that. And don't get me wrong, there will be ones out there, but don't be afraid to come into the industry because you think it will be a scrap to get to the top. It's not that at all. Everyone, yes, is each other's competition, but everyone is also should be there to support each other.
Yeah.
Like I know so many people, I do it myself as well. If I see a casting somewhere, usually online, that I know someone who is perfect for it, or they just even mildly fit into those brackets, I'll send it straight over to them. And I've had people do that to me as well, or tag me in stuff and everything. It's actually a very supportive community, generally speaking. So don't let that sort of scare you away. Again, social media is the easiest way where you could put onto there. If you don't know what to do, you could put a status. Again, I'm going to go with Twitter just because I use that the most for acting stuff. To just whack a status on there, tag in at Support British. There's a guy called John Craggs. He is fantastically supportive. He's got a big network. He'll 99% of the time retweet you. All the other actors will see it and people will comment, help you out, all that kind of stuff. So if you have any questions, fire them away onto Twitter, tag him in, tag other people in, tag myself in. I'm not giving you my Twitter handle. I can't remember it, but
isn't it Ryan?
Is it R? I think it's R. Might be R Clarke 270. Yeah.
You carry on, and I'll check.
Okay. But yeah, more than welcome to fire any questions towards me. I'm not the most knowledgeable of people. What is going on, my words? But I'm more knowledgeable when someone asks me a question rather than taking my own advice. I'm really bad at taking my own advice.
Me too.
But yeah, just speak to people, ask people, because everyone's on different routes. So I can't really say what is best to do other than contact people who are already in the industry, because everyone's path is different. Everyone's needs are different. Everyone's at different stages. And now I feel like I'm just rambling. So
no, it's a good point.
Just contact people.
Made. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I would echo that. Use Twitter, reach out to people. You know, it's a very convenient way to contact people as well, rather than having to arrange to meet up or whatever. You can literally, like Ryan said, pop something on Twitter, you can have an answer within 5 minutes. Yeah. Just for anyone listening or watching that wants to follow Ryan on social media, it is at rclarke270.
I did get it right.
0, sorry, not 0. You did get it right. So yeah, I mean, I think that is sound advice, to be honest, and I think everyone listening will take something away. Just to add something to that as well, is that if you are perhaps entering this industry and you're a bit scared or worried, try not to listen to what other people say. Make your own judgment on things and be open to what people have to tell you. You don't have to agree with it, but just be open to everyone's opinions and sort of what they think of the industry. And always, just like Ryan said, listen to your gut and stay true to yourself, and just be passionate and make it happen.
Passionate. I'm just going to quickly add as well, if you're coming into the industry and you have no prior experience, classes, go to acting classes.
Yes.
You don't have to go to drama school. If you want to audition for drama school, that's fine, but acting classes, every city has a range of acting classes. Again, that's whatever city you're in or something, you can just whack that onto Twitter.
Yeah.
What are the best classes in Manchester, for example, and tag people in it or ask people to retweet, and you'll soon get a bunch of answers. Do a little bit of research into them. Try one out for a few weeks. If it's not really for you, hop onto another one. But yeah, definitely sort of get some training in.
Yeah.
It'll boost your confidence as well as actually boosting your talent.
Yeah.
I had another cow moment. There's something else, but it's gone.
Oh no.
See, this is why I need to write things down.
As we're doing the podcast.
Yes.
Blah, blah, blah.
Point proven, though. Write stuff down.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, this has been an absolute treat. Thank you so much, Ryan, for your energy, your time, as always. I've got nothing but respect for you, and I always have. Since meeting you, you've just done exactly what you want to do.
Since being a grumpy git in college in musical theatre when I didn't want to do it.
Yeah, especially that bit. He chose to be exceptionally grumpy at college. No, you didn't choose to be. It was just the wrong calling, maybe. Yeah. But without that, maybe you wouldn't have then realised acting was the way forward.
Exactly. And without that, I wouldn't have met you and some other great people that were on our course. So
exactly. You were going to say something then. What were you going to say?
I don't think
you literally looked like you were going to make a funny remark, and I was like, I swear to God.
Not. We'll just call it another cow moment.
Yeah,
there we go.
Probably.
That's going to be my quote.
It really is. #cow moment. Anyway, to wrap up, thank you to everyone that's listened. If you are listening on Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Apple Music, wherever you get your podcasts, then do follow us on those platforms. We have loads of podcasts coming up, and we have loads already available for you to listen to. And if you're watching on YouTube, thank you ever so much for watching and seeing our gloriously wonderful faces. If you want to like, comment and subscribe to our channel, that would honestly mean the world. We've got loads of amazing content on there from previous projects, as well as things coming up as well. But until the next time, we will see you very soon, or you'll hear us very soon. And thank you again, Ryan. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much for having me. I really enjoyed it. No nerves.
No nerves. Yes.